I felt bad for Biggie. I mean, I watched that all go down in real time, and each step backwards, I was like, "Oh, this is rough," because he just didn't see it coming at all. Rick had went from having zero alliances and kind of, and when Rick got off the plane, as an old dude, I was like, I'm pulling for the old dude. Let's see how he does. And at the beginning, I didn't think he was going to make it. And even when the first elimination, Josh kind of like chucked him right under a bus. And I still don't know where and why and how exactly that became such a thing. Um, but I always was like pulling for the old folks. I was like, Rick and Kim. I was like, oh, I'm going to go for them because they're the older folks. But then I fell in love. You kind of fall in love with each player, especially as the game goes on. I think Biggie was fantastic. I mean, the guy made for reality TV. Dadgummit. And Peter, I think the final three were a spectacular final three. I'm still sad about Mac being eliminated because she was also a favorite of mine. Just her gameplay, I thought, was phenomenal. But yeah, inside that the Greenwich Hall, I remember sitting there and just seeing it all dawn on Biggie, because he had thought he kind of had this alliance with Rick, and everybody knows that Rick and Peter had been working together. And it was going to come to a head. And I was real curious what Rick was going to do there. And we found out very fast. I knew about it, I think we saw it on the episode, like 3 episodes ago or 4 episodes ago. Rick, Janae, and Peter started working together. But you never know if that's going to stick, if that's going to be the ride or die. And Biggie had been there for Rick in such a way too that I knew Rick was going to be torn between the two. And Peter saved his. I mean, Peter pulled, I think, the biggest move in the game, getting rid of Mac, which no one else would have done. As much as I hated to see Mac go, it was incredible gameplay, and it kind of saved Rick's ass, I think. And so, look, Rick making this decision, and he's a smart man. But it was sad to see Biggie go. It was sad to see him realize what was going on. And I think we were all kind of in that boat as it went down. The crew, everybody that was there watching this. Rick was, I think, under the radar a lot of the time. Peter came on being a reality show guy, handsome, strapping young man from The Bachelor, and Rick was a bird watcher from Canada. You couldn't get more polar opposites, but they had been working together, so you knew, and you had seen enough of them and how they were thinking when we would get them alone in a room and interview them, that it was going to be interesting, that it was going to be close, and what was going to happen. So I think once Biggie was out, I liked the mano-a-mano, the way that it went down. But if you had known how really close it was insane. They were very much on the same wavelength when it came to the final challenge, and they kept coming up with the same answers. And so we would have to continue the game. They seemed very coupley in stuff they were doing on Instagram, I thought, 2 months ago. And Shane was nowhere to be seen. And I was like, well, how long is this going to take for people to figure out? But then I saw this morning, because I couldn't watch the episode. I'm in Canada. And I'm staying on a lake somewhere, but the only TV I have is Netflix right now. So there's not a regular way to watch television. So I will watch on Peacock today the episode. But yeah, I couldn't watch it, but I looked on social media this morning right before I started doing interviews and saw that they had come out, and good for them. It's awesome. And I'm sure the audience for the show is all a Twitter about it, which is great.
Like, why do you think they make a good couple?
I would never have. I've never would have guessed it. Look, I think Allie. They're both. Why do they make a good couple? Because they really do. Um, Allie played such a. I don't know them other than the game, right? So I thought Allie played this incredible social game, and then I thought Mac was like kind of a technical player. Like she went in with a plan and was going to follow that plan to the end, and maybe would have won the game. I think she was one of the top three strongest players in my mind, uh, certainly. But I did not see the coupling coming at all, not even
Poor
close.
Shane. Poor
Poor
Shane.
Shane, poor Shane. Yeah, and those, Allie and Shane seemed pretty happy. And I remember when the show was over, I was like, good luck, and I can't wait to see you on the reunion show and see what's going on with the two of you. And got to 2 months later, and no, that's not the case. Well, I think the world is a big, beautiful place that I think we could. The beauty of this show is we can kind of go anywhere. I think that we barely have touched Europe, so I don't think that going back to Europe is a bad idea at all. But I think if you do one more year in Europe, then I think you should open it up. And I think there's so many places I'd love to see, like Asia or South America. I think there's some cool places yet to be seen, and I think this show is sort of perfect for that. So let's go. I'm ready. I didn't know how I would enjoy, or if I would enjoy doing something like this, and I think I started off really. I think we were all trying to figure out exactly how this game was going to work, and what my style of hosting may or may not be. We kind of all knew from the jump that it wouldn't be standard, that it was going to be a little bit different, I guess. And but as the game went, I got more and more comfortable, and I was able to kind of figure out how people were playing the game and how smart they were. I don't think anyone anticipated how smart these players were. Biggie's a perfect example. This is a kid who never left, Kentucky or Tennessee or wherever the hell he was from, but he had done so much studying, and they were all just super smart. And so I think next go around, I'm going to say we're going to do season 2. I'm totally talking out of my ass, but I think it's going to be about making the show harder and smarter.